We know that a lot of people are struggling with mental health, burnout, and it's a kind of, we can say, a lack of hope. And so,
Mm.
do you have, when a client, what if a client come to you and say, a potential client come
Yes.
to you and say, "Oh, Dr. Jenny, I would love to do that, but I cannot dream anymore." People that
Yeah.
are hurt and they struggle in their lives and they just stop to believe that they can dream. So
Yeah.
what is your advice for those kind of people?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And, there's always people, we have these vision workshops where we bring people so we can help people to unpack their dreams. And there's always somebody who says, I don't have any dreams. I'm
Okay.
working with a client right now. He says, I was never taught to dream. My father was a scientist. We did not live in a household of belief and dreaming, right? And so it's really learning a skill set, first of all, being open, even if a tiny corner, one little crack of a door is open, you can play with this, right? You don't have to believe in it fully, but you can play with it. But the thing that I love about this work is we start with our longings and our discontent. You don't have to have a dream, but we can look at your current situation. There, everybody has a longing. I have someone that I was working with who's had a lot of trauma in his life, and he doesn't have particular dreams, but he's like, and we worked and worked with him because I have a dream. I would like to have a litter of puppies. Okay, there's something, right? There's something, and it teaches you I have a dream for something in the future and building blocks to get there, right? And I can work on it. So it took him months to come up with that because he came from a space that dreaming was scary. His parents were lawyers. He didn't have a lot of that faculty, in him, but it's there. But the other thing is we all have longings. And so he'd always forever had a longing to have puppies. He then realized, well, actually, I would love to have a piece of property because he lived in an apartment. I said, well, you're going to have, and he has a Great Dane, a giant dog. I said, well, are you going to have these puppies in your apartment? Oh, no, I'd really love some land. Oh, well, where would you like to be? Well, I'd like to be on this side of town. He had a dream, right? He just wasn't thinking about it as a dream. So when we start to look at those longings, there's often the groundwork for the dream. And that's exciting. The other thing I want to say is our current discontents. If you're sitting in a job you don't love, a relationship you don't love, a house that's not perfect, you name it, a body that's not perfect, there's a discontent. And there's an antithesis, like the current condition, there's a antidote, and it's your dream. So I had a hip injury and 2 years ago, and I gained some weight. And so it's like my dream is to be back to vibrant, health, thin, the things that it mattered to me. It doesn't matter to anyone else. But the discontent is I don't feel good in my body. I'm not moving as easily. It's harder to walk and breathe, so I have to dream of, my dream is it's right in front of me, but my body is strong, vibrant, and healthy. My inside and out. My ideal weight is effortless to achieve and maintain. I'm the picture of well-being. That's the antidote, right? It's the opposite of where I'm at. So it exists, but I had to look at what I'm discontent with and then not say, I had to frame it. There's a lot to do with how we write a dream, but we had to frame it in a really positive way. But it takes time. It took weeks to figure out some of these things. But then also for the I can't dream, we really believe that everybody has a dream somewhere, and then there's a nugget. But like I said, for a lot of people, they get blocked up. As we get older, depending on our environment, our circumstances, trauma, pain, bad experiences, we lock up as humans. Little kids, you give them a dream and they're an astronaut and they're in a rocket and they just have so much imagination. And I'm watching my own children as they get to middle school. There's less and less imagination. The world is telling them not to dream. That dreams don't come true, that dreams are not possible. So this is back to the self-limiting paradigm, as well as I do, that we get told, and it gets in our own heads that we don't deserve, that we can't, we don't have enough, we don't have what it takes, will never have access to resources, right? Like in my own life, an example would be launching my own coaching business. I had self-limiting paradigms saying, I'm a single mother. It's too risky to launch my own business. I don't have enough capital to launch a business. You know what? They were blocking me for years. My dream got so that the discontent and the longing got so strong that I finally had to cross that fear barrier, that bridge we were talking about before, and go ahead and go for it. And it's hard, right? It's hard, it's scary, but there's something about responding to the longing and the discontent that has brought me to the most fulfilled work of my life. So I don't know if that answers your question, but people, I say to people, if you can't dream, come and just listen to the work. We work with Mary Morrissey from the Brave Thinking Institute. She's been doing this for like 50 years. She has a way of speaking, first of all, to people's hearts, but she's so analytic. She's so intelligent. She's so well studied that as you listen to her, you begin to realize, oh, maybe the way I'm thinking is what's keeping me from dreaming. Maybe I do have some dreams. And she kind of takes that little crack and kind of opens it more and more. So I do think everyone has a dream in them somewhere. And it may be that when you were 4 years old, you loved ice cream, or, for me, someone came up to me with a pamphlet of African children that were starving. I was like 9 years old. And I'll never forget the moment. They wanted me to sign a petition, and they were showing me those pictures of those starving children. I had never seen anything like that. And in an instant, I said, I'm going to help those children. And I ended up building a life around international development, much like your life. It touched me. That's a longing, right? There's something in there for all of us. I've never met someone that I've worked with that didn't find something they could expand into. So I believe it's in there. And
Yeah,
I love working with people who say, I don't have a dream. I'm like, well, let's just go try anyway. And the neat thing about the coaches and the Dream Builder work is we're all so committed to our clients, and we believe in their innate capacity, right? Just because you don't have the ability when you show up to our programs doesn't mean that it's not there, So, yeah.
Yeah, because I think in some way the formal education prepare you for the world outside, not inside. And I think what you're talking about, dreams are inside of us, like if we don't connect to ourselves, we don't know what we want, what would we love. And that's a great question.
I agree with you. I think that when we can't dream, it's a part of us that's shut down, right? Because I do think humans, we have a brain and a capacity. We just may not know how to access it. And that makes me very sad when people come to me that they feel shut down, they don't have the dream. I think there's a opportunity with this work to help people really open up to that possibility. And I feel like it's an honor to get to serve people in that way.